Hey guys, Brennan here. Just thought I'd talk to you about the ownership today. How ownership is slowly disappearing from the middle and lower income classes and being transferred over to the high income classes. And how that is a terrible thing because when people have ownership over something, they are more likely to treat it better than, say, if they were renting it. Like, I'm a service electrician, and I've noticed that when I go into people's houses where they're the homeowners, they tend to treat the properties better than, say, somebody in a rented apartment. So with what's going on with like the housing markets, stock markets, gold and silver markets, commodities, like everything seems to be going up and up and up and up. And that's probably the trend going forward because inflation is baked into the system. If we don't inflate, the system dies. And right now the system is broken. And it's broken because I believe of three major factors. The first factor is demographics. You can't continuously increase the money supply and have eventual, sorry, got something in my throat. You can't inflate the money supply with an eventual stagnation and decline in the population. And that's where we're going. And then also the misallocation of resources. So what I mean by that is when more money is directed to certain sectors when it should be going to others. So you see a big increase in real estate markets because people are throwing more money into them through reasoning of speculation. Where they think prices are going to continuously keep going up. So instead of money going towards like the industrial sector, it's now going into the housing sector. That's one example. And the third factor I'd say is the prevention of correction in markets. So a good example of that is, say if there's a forest that's completely riddled with dead brush in it. If that dead brush isn't cleared, that forest is more likely to set on fire. And that's kind of happening with the economy with all of the programs that are created and also liquidity being injected into these markets. So they don't properly correct and we don't see real price discovery with them. So with those three main factors, I think is the reason why we're seeing all the higher prices, the zombie corporations out there, and the fact that productivity is falling rapidly. And so we're seeing ownership kind of transition from the ones who can barely afford it to the ones that can. So with that being said, people also don't realize that they've effectively been tricked into thinking that ownership happens with digital assets or digital formats. And what I've learned with stocks, for example, one of my most popular videos on the channel right now is where I talk about the three types of stock ownership. Where there is street registration, which is the most common type, where people hold stocks in a brokerage account. There's a direct registration system, which is another digital kind of way of having shares with a corporation. It puts your name directly on their shareholder register. So you get a physical document once you're on the DRS that say you have ownership of that thing. And then the third one is a stock certificate. So your name is directly on a legal piece of paper that says you have ownership in this company. And then by doing so, your name goes on the shareholder register of that company. Whereas like with street registration, you are effectively a beneficial owner. So what that means is the brokerage has superior ownership rights over you. And then large corporations that no one really knows about, like the DTCC, Seed & Co., or CDS & Co., they actually have the superior ownership rights over you. And that's what makes you a beneficial owner. Say if they, if something goes wrong, then you are the owner at the end of it, which is a load of BS if you ask me. And what I've found out is through digital ownership, like across the board, that's how it works. Like if it's digital, if there's more firewalls in front of you, as an example, the further back in line you are for ownership of certain things. Like for example, when you have money in a bank account, it's technically not yours, it's actually the bank's. It's just a liability that the bank owes you. Or if you have cryptocurrency on an exchange, it's technically the exchange's and it's a liability that they owe to you. Same thing with brokerage accounts. If you have music or movies on iTunes that you paid for, like it's only accessible as long as iTunes is still going. Like that's just how it is across the board with digital ownership. There is no ownership with digital. It only works as long as you have the real thing in your hand, whether it's, you know, a CD or a piece of gold or a stock certificate, bond certificate, a deed for your land, your house. The more we go to digital, the more ownership is stripped away from the people. And and people need to have real ownership of things, not just ownership that they think they have. Because when people have ownership, they are more likely to take charge and responsibility in the societies that they live in. So that's my input with ownership nowadays. It's not just that people are getting priced out of things. It's because people are being misled into thinking they have ownership, when in reality they don't. So yeah, one of the ways that we combat this is to bring education to this this topic, because so many people don't know about this. There are often times I feel like I'm alone in knowing this information. Because what's happening around the world right now is a thing called dematerialization, where physical ownership of these assets and these things are slowly being taken away, or they're just not being produced like they were in the past. And because of that, the ownership goes with it. So yeah. Share this video with anyone that you think would find it interesting. Comment down below what you think, and give this video a like, and I'll see you in the next one.